Friends, welcome to Bionic Tips. In this class, we'll be talking about some of the MCQs from the chapter Life Processes of Ncert Class 10. So let's get started. So the first question is, in which group of organisms the food material is broken down outside the body? So option A, mushroom, green plants, amoeba. Option B, yeast, mushroom, bread mold. Option C, we have paramecium, amoeba, cuscuta. And option D, we have cuscuta, lice and tapeworm. Now let's see one by one. So mushrooms, they belong to saprophytes. Green plants are autotrophs and amoeba. It feeds by the process of holozoic mode of nutrition. Yeast, mushroom and bread mold are saprophytes. Paramecium, amoeba and cuscuta. Cuscuta is a parasite. Cuscuta, lice and tapeworm, again they are parasites. So in the question they have asked, in which group of organisms the food is broken down outside the body? So the option is yeast, mushroom and bread mold, because they are asking about the saprophytes here. Okay, so moving on to the next. Which is the correct sequence? Which is the correct sequence in the alimentary canal? Mouth, stomach, small intestine, esophagus, large intestine. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine. Mouth, stomach, esophagus, small intestine, large intestine. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So this is the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. So question number 3. If salivary amylase is lacking in saliva, which of the event in the mouth will be affected? So now we all know that salivary amylase, okay, mechanical digestion starts in the mouth, and salivary amylase, which is present in saliva, helps in the breakdown of starch. So option B is the correct option. The inner lining of the stomach is protected by one of the following from hydrochloric acid. Choose the correct one. Now we have studied that in the stomach we have hydrochloric acid to kill the microbes which is present in the food, and also to activate pepsin. Now, since hydrochloric acid is present, it can corrode the walls of the stomach. So, that is why we have mucus. Okay. Salivary amylase is present in the saliva, which is present in the mouth. Bile is secreted by liver. Pepsin is an enzyme which is present in stomach, but the inner lining of the stomach is protected by the mucus. Okay. Moving on to the next. Which of the following are energy foods? Carbohydrates and fats, proteins and minerals, vitamins and minerals, water and roughage. So we have studied in our lower classes in the balanced diet that carbohydrates and fats are the energy foods. They provide energy to the body. Okay. So let's see question number 6. In which mode of nutrition an organism derives its food from the body of another living organism without killing it? Now we all know that there are certain group of organisms which feeds on the host body without killing them, right? And what do we call them? We call them as parasites. Okay, so the answer is parasitic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition, we all know that organisms feed on the dead and the decayed. Okay, so holozoic mode of nutrition is the one in which the food, when it is absorbed, when the food is intaken, it will be digested with the help of enzymes. Okay, And autotrophic mode of nutrition is the one where the organisms prepare their own food. They are not dependent on any other organism. So the correct answer is parasitic nutrition. Okay, moving on to the next. Roots of plants absorb water from soil through the process of osmosis. Okay, because we all know that roots do have cells, right? Okay, the root hairs, they also have cells, and the cells, they having plasma membrane. So the ionic concentration at one region is more and the ionic concentration at the other region is very less. So the movement of water molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is osmosis. So the answer is osmosis. Now what is transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water from the leaves in the form of vapors. Okay, so the answer here is osmosis. Question number 8. The exit of unabsorbed food material is regulated by. Okay, so the exit of unabsorbed food material, exit. So we all know that the entry of the food is through the mouth and exit of the food material is through anus. So the exit of the unabsorbed food material is regulated by the anal sphincter. Okay, anal sphincter is a small valve-like muscle which is present near the anus and it helps in the regulation of the food material. The part where the exchange of gases takes place during respiration. Okay, so the part where the exchange of gases takes place during respiration, we all know that exchange of gases, okay, exchange of gases takes place in the alveoli. Now alveoli is surrounded by a thick bundle of capillaries in order to increase the surface area. Okay, in order to increase the surface area for exchange of gases. So the answer is alveoli and capillaries. The backflow of blood during pumping of blood by heart is prevented by walls of the ventricles, walls of the atrium, valves in the heart and walls between atria and ventricles. Now the walls which are present between the ventricles and the atrium is to separate the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. But here they have asked the backflow of blood. Okay, backflow of blood during pumping of the blood is by the heart is prevented by the valves in the heart. The valves which are present in the heart, they prevent the backflow of the blood. When air is blown from mouth into a test tube containing lime water, the lime water turned milky due to the presence of. Now we all know this is an activity which is given in the textbook. So you have to read the activities also thoroughly. So when air is blown from mouth into a test tube containing lime water, the lime water turns milky due to the presence of carbon dioxide. Okay. Which is the first enzyme to mix with food in the digestive tract? So in the digestive tract, the first process is mechanical digestion, which takes place in the mouth, and the first enzyme is amylase, that is the salivary amylase, which is present in the mouth. Okay, so it starts from mouth. The digestion process starts from mouth, so the answer is amylase. Lack of oxygen in muscles often lead to cramps among cricketers. This results due to. So we all know that lack of oxygen means what type of respiration is it? It is anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration in muscles, okay, whenever we are working out or whenever we are doing any physical activity, we all know that there is lack of oxygen or there is cut in the supply of oxygen. So the pyruvate is converted to lactic acid. right? We have lactic acid accumulation in the muscles, which leads to the cramps. So the answer is conversion of pyruvate to lactic acid. Question number 14. Choose the correct path in our urine, in the body. So let us see the options. Kidney, ureter, urethra, urinary bladder. Kidney, urinary bladder, urethra, ureter. Kidney, ureters, urinary bladder, urethra. Urinary bladder, kidney, ureter and urethra. So the option is C. Kidney, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Now they have given ureter here. Okay, don't get confused. We have two ureters. So the correct option is kidney, ureters, urinary bladder and urethra. Let's check with the next question. Which element is used in the synthesis of proteins? Nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Now we all know that the amine group, the amino acids which are present in proteins are rich in nitrogen. So nitrogen is the element which is responsible or which takes part in the synthesis of proteins. The process of breaking molecules in the absence of oxygen. So when the respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen, we call it as anaerobic respiration. Okay. Question number 17. In amoeba, food is digested in the... So in amoeba, we have something called as food vacuole. Okay. So this food vacuole is responsible for digestion process. It is responsible for the excretion process. We have also studied about the something called as contractile vacuole. Okay. So contractile. So this is also called as contractile vacuole, which also helps in the process of excretion. Okay, moving on to the next. The contraction and expansion movement of the walls of the foot pipe is called as peristaltic movement, right? So peristalsis is the contraction and expansion, the rhythmic contraction and expansion of the movement of the walls of the foot pipe is the peristaltic movement. So what are the food products obtained by anaerobic respiration in plants? So lactic acid and energy, it is in the muscle cells. Carbon dioxide, water and energy is during the process of photosynthesis. During anaerobic respiration, ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy is released by the plants. The opening and closing of the stomatal pores depends upon oxygen, temperature, water in the guard cells, concentration of CO2. Now the opening and the closing of stomatal pores is because of the guard cells. So the option guard cells, water in the guard cells is the right answer. Okay. A plant gets rid of excess water through respiration, which is a method used by plants to get rid of solid waste product. Shortening of stem, dropping down of fruits, shedding of yellow leaves, expansion of roots into the soil. So the answer is shedding of yellow leaves. Okay, shedding of the dry yellow leaves means that it is a process through which plants are getting rid of their solid waste. Chemicals present in tobacco smoke leads to the breakdown of the elastic tissue in the alveoli. Name the specific condition. So we all know that definitely it is not heart disease. Okay, bronchitis is not because of the breakdown of the elastic tissue in the alveoli. Lung cancer is also not because of the breakdown. Okay, so the answer is emphysema. Okay, so emphysema is a condition where there is a breakdown of the elastic tissue in the alveoli. Digestion of food starts from which organ of the human digestive system? So digestion of food starts from the mouth. So as I told you earlier, the mechanical digestion begins from the mouth. Okay, the other word for this mechanical digestion is mastication. So in the mouth, due to the presence of saliva, salivary amylase helps in the breakdown of starch and the digestion of food begins there. So the answer is mouth due to the presence of saliva. Which option correctly shows the transport of oxygen to the cell? So lungs to pulmonary vein to left atrium, left ventricle, aorta and body cells. Lungs, pulmonary vein, right atrium, right ventricle, aorta and body cells. Lungs, pulmonary artery, left atrium, left ventricle, vena cava, body cells. Lungs, pulmonary artery, right atrium, right ventricle, vena cava and body cells. So obviously these two are not the options because they are talking about the oxygenated blood, and we all know that pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from heart to the lungs. So let's check the other two options. Lungs, pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle, aorta, body cells. Lungs, pulmonary vein, right atrium, right ventricle, aorta and body cells. Now we all know that the deoxygenated blood from various parts of the body enters into the right atrium from the vena cava, superior and inferior vena cava. So obviously this is not the option. So the option has to be A. Lungs, pulmonary vein, left atrium, left ventricle, aorta and body cells. How is food transported from phloem to the tissues according to the plant's need? So food is transported along with water in the plant's body. Food is transported in only one direction, like water in the plant body through xylem. Food is transported from a region with low concentration to higher concentration. Food is transported from a region where it is produced to the other parts of the plants. So we all know that the transport of food is called as translocation, and it is bidirectional, right? It is not unidirectional, it is bidirectional, because food is produced in one place and it has to be transported to other parts of the plant. Glycolysis process occurs in which part of the cell? Okay, the answer is cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm is a place where glycolysis takes place. Name the pores in a leaf through which respiratory exchange of gases takes place. The pores, okay, we all know that there are tiny microscopic pores present on the surface of the leaves, the lower surface of the leaves, wherein the respiratory exchange of gases takes place. So undoubtedly it has to be stomata. Okay. Single circulation, that is blood flows through the heart only once during one cycle of passage through the body is exhibited by which of the following? So single circulation, which means they have only single chamber. Okay, single chamber is present. Blood flows through the heart only once. So let us check one by one. So Hyla, Rana and Draco. Hyla, Rana are examples of amphibians. So obviously this is not an option, because amphibians, they have two chambered heart. Whales, dolphins and turtles, obviously whales and dolphins are mammals, turtle is a reptile. So this is also not an option because double circulation take place. Labio, chameleon and salamander. So chameleon and salamander is an amphibian, chameleon is a reptile, and labio is a Pisces, belongs to the class Pisces. So this is also not an option because all three belong to three different class. Hippocampus, Exocetus and Anabas, all three belong to the class fishes. Okay, the Pisces. So the answer is Hippocampus, Exocetus and Anabas. Which part of nephron allows selective reabsorption of useful substances like glucose, amino acid, salt and water into the blood capillaries? Tubule, glomerulus, Bowman's capsule and ureter. So obviously ureter is not an option when it comes to nephron. Okay, this is not an option. Bowman's capsule, glomerulus. We all know that the Bowman's capsule has a thick capillary called as glomerulus, and here ultrafiltration, glomerular filtration takes place. So obviously these two are also not the option. Selective reabsorption takes place in the tubular part, that is the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Okay, so in proximal convoluted tubule we have selective reabsorption of useful substances. So the answer is tubule. The movement of food in phloem is called transpiration, translocation, respiration, evaporation. So we all know that respiration, evaporation is not an option. Okay, these two are not the option. Transpiration, translocation. Among these two, we know that the movement of food, okay, we all know transpiration is the loss of water in the form of vapor. So this is also not an option. So the movement of food in phloem is called as translocation. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed this session thoroughly. You have understood how to solve the MCQs. So I'll be back in the next video with some more MCQs. Till then, please subscribe to my channel, like and share the video, and also comment in the comment box if you have any doubts.